Okay, so we're going to start straight off the bat with 2 minutes of 90-90s on the floor. There's 3 options depending on how far we want to go with this. Option 1 is the normal 90-90. So we sit like this here, then we go both knees over to one side to make 2 90-degree angles, lean over, and we're just going to work from side to side there. If you're feeling a bit more adventurous, then as you come over, you can pivot off this knee here and lift that foot. So we come over, again, lift that foot. If you're feeling even more adventurous, then you can do that one. Plus, when you get to the middle, push down into the floor of your hands, run off the floor, sit yourself back and in. So the full movement then would look like this. Over to the side, foot up, into the middle, sit back, and then over, foot up. All right, so it's your choice. And we're going to go for 2 minutes. And we're going to start that in 5 seconds. Just working from side to side for 2 minutes to really warm those glutes up, okay? So let's get started now. So here we are, both knees over to one side, and then as much of the 3 options as you want. You might find that you end up creeping along the floor a bit, forwards mostly. If you go too far, just reset, bring yourself back again. And these movements should get easier and easier as time goes on, as we warm up into them. Okay, that's a minute gone. We've got 1 more minute to go. Keep working through. Keep going through. Knees over to the side, reaching over that front knee, lifting the foot, and then sitting ourselves back to get a bit of hamstring warmth there. I've definitely shifted forward by about half a metre. Okay, just under 30 seconds left. Let's squeeze the rest out of this. 15 seconds to go. Last one then, 3, 2, 1, and that's it. Okay, good stuff. Grab a drink if you want one. Right, from there, just give myself a bit more space. From there we're going to come down into hands and knees. And we're going to do 2 rounds of this. So we're going to start with the 4-point twist. So hands and knees here, pointing and looking towards the ceiling there, then arm as far as we can through there. So 5 of these reps, loosening up those shoulders, upper back and chest. No need to rush them. So 5 on one side, 5 on the other. Once they're done, we're going to stay in that hands and knees position. And we're going to go into cat-cows. We're going to do 5 of those. So we push that back up into the ceiling, look down towards the knees, and then drive the belly button down towards the floor, looking forwards and exhale. And we're going to push through that range for 5 reps, really trying to go as far as we can, up and down. Use your core to push yourself up. We've got 5 of those. Once they're done, we're going to come onto, we're going to stay in our hands and knees position here, and imagining that we've got a little pencil sticking out the bottom of our knee. We're just going to start drawing some circles on the floor with that knee, and as we get a bit more into it, we're going to extend the size of those circles until we can make them as big as possible. Change direction, so if you're going clockwise, go anti-clockwise, keep going with those circles. Good stuff. Then we're going to change legs, start small, get bigger and bigger. Good, and then change direction. Alright, excellent. And the last one of this little circuit, we're going to be in this kneeling position here. One leg out to the side, hands on the floor then, and we're just going to rock forwards and backwards with that leg out to the side. It might be slightly uncomfortable on the bent knee depending on what floor you're on, but we should be feeling a nice stretch up through here. So just rocking backwards and forth. 2 more, then we'll swap sides. 1, 2, onto the other knee, foot out, rocking forwards and back. Once this movement's done, we're going to go back to the twists to start our second round. Okay. Reset, back down into the twists. We're going to go for 6 on each side this time, so pointing and looking towards the ceiling and that arm under. Once you've done your 6, change sides. Okay, great. And then we're into those cat-cows. We're going to go for 8 this time. So driving up and then down. 1. Okay, and when they're done, we're going to go into those circles. We're going to do 5 circles clockwise and anti-clockwise on each side, okay? Okay, excellent. And then we're going to go into those rocks. We're going to do 6 rocks forwards and back. And on the last one then, we're just going to come together and stop in that back position for a little hold. So whatever number you're on, just do 3 more rocks. 1, 2. On the next one then, send yourself to the back and hold yourself there. And we're just going to stay here then for 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and forward. Change sides, and I'm going to do the same. So about 6 rocks forwards and back. Okay, a couple more. 1. And then we're going to stay in the back position on this next one, and I'm going to hold here for 10, 5, 2, 1, and back to the middle and rest. Okay, grab a drink before we move on to the next bit. Okay, so the next one is going to be more running specific, running resilience. So we've got 5 movements, and we're going to go through them 2 times like we did in the last set. So we've got 10 calf raises, so literally on the spot up into a calf raise. That's number 1. Then we've got inverted walks. So we're going to be up on the outsides of our feet, coming over, walking forwards and walking backwards. Then we're going to have heel walks, so up on our heels, walking forwards and then backwards. Then we've got terminal knee extension. So what that looks like is we're going to be in this position here, like a very poor lunge. This knee is this leg's the working one. It's going to be forwards here, and we're going to extend it backwards. Forwards and backwards. Ideally we have a band between here giving us some resistance, but for the time being this is fine. So we're extending that knee nice and carefully. Then we're going to go into a curtsy lunge, which is going to be facing forwards. I'm going to step back. This knee comes to the outside of this leg and down. If that doesn't work for your knees, just go for a normal lunge, okay? So we're going to start with those 10 calf raises. Ready to go? 3, 2, 1. Nice and steady. Good. Okay, once those 10 are done, we're going to go into those inverted walks. So we're just taking small steps on the outside of the foot here, strengthening all the small muscles in the foot. There we go, good stuff. And then backwards. Okay, good. And then we're up onto heel walks. So just on our heels, lifting those toes up, coming forwards. That's it, you got it. Okay, and then we're into those terminal knee extensions. So to run through that again, come into this split stance here, forward position with this knee bent, and we're just going to extend it backwards. So in, forwards, and back. We're going to do 10 of these on each side. Bring it forwards and back. Up onto the toe and pushing back. Okay, a couple more. 8, 9, 10. Then we're going to change to the other side. So bring it forward, up onto the toe, pushing it back so the leg's straight. Excellent. Keep it going. 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And then into those curtsy lunges then. 5, all on the same side, then we'll change sides. So we're stepping back and the knees coming down to the floor on the outside. Control the lowering. Lovely bit of work for the knee, for the glutes, and for the quads. That's it. Then when you've done your 5, change sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, excellent. Then we're going to go back into those calf raises then for round 2. So this time we're going to go 12 calf raises. Couple more. Oh, I can definitely feel those. And then back into the inverted walks. So out on the outsides of the feet, walking forwards. Be careful not to go over on your ankle like I did at the beginning. Never done these in these shoes before. Okay, good. Keep things nice and stable. Strengthening all those tiny muscles in the feet, trying to avoid injury. Then we're up onto the heels. Kind of walking forwards on the heels. Good. All right, and we've got the terminal knee extensions. We're going to do 12 on each side this time, so there's quite a few. So forwards on that toe and extending backwards. So for future reference for this one, it is a really good one. If you can fix a band to a point forward of you here and have it around the back of your knee, then you'll have resistance to push back against. This is still good. Four more. And then change sides. Up onto that toe, coming forwards, extending backwards. 4 more. Okay, great. Grab a drink, have a quick break. Okay, so the next one we've got is going to be lower body dominant. We've got 4 movements. We're going to do 5 reps of each on each side, and then we're going to do that 3 times through. So the first one is a wide stance good morning. So from the front, what that looks like is we're going to have quite a wide stance here, and then sideways now. Keeping that back straight, we're just going to come over, send your bum back, so we feel tension in the hamstrings, and we're going to go for 5 reps of that. Okay, wide stance good morning. Then we've got a groin squat. So again, we're going to come into a normal squat stance, so feet below hips. We're going to do one of those good mornings again. So as we come over like this, when we get as far as we can get, we're then going to dip down into a squat. So it looks like this again. Keeping the legs relatively straight, bum goes back, chest up. Once we reach the limit of our hamstrings about here, we're going to sit ourselves down into the squat. Right, that'll be a fun one. And then we've got a sumo squat. So we're going to take our feet really quite wide, pointing out about 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and we're going to squat from there. And the last one then, nice and easy, we're going to bring one foot up like this, and then we're just going to draw circles through the heel of that foot. I'll run through that when we get there. So let's start with that wide stance good morning. So we're going to take that relatively wide stance, chest up, shoulders back. We're going to come over like this until we feel a good amount of tension in the hamstrings, and come up to straight again. We're going for 5 of these. Okay, good. Once they're done, bring your stance in a bit so that you're below hips. We're going to send ourselves over again with those relatively straight legs and that straight back. Once we hit the limit of our hamstrings, tuck your bum under and come into a squat and stand up. Quite a challenging one there to get the hang of. Couple more of those. We're doing 3 rounds of this circuit, so we'll get the hang of it. Okay, then we're into those sumo stance squats, so feet really quite wide, pointing outwards, and we're just going to squat down there. We should really feel this in here. Good. Okay, good stuff. And once that's done, we've got one leg up in the air here. We're going to point the heel down, push the heel down towards the floor, and then draw 5 circles clockwise, 5 anti-clockwise, and change legs. Once you've done those, have a little break. We'll catch up. Have a drink if you want, and then we'll go again. Alright. So, we're going to go back into those wide stance good mornings. So when I say wide, we've got 3 different whips today. We've got the wide stance good morning, which is about here. We've got the sumo squat, which is about here. And the Goran squat, which is normal, about here. Anyway, back to the wide stance good morning. Hips slightly wider, feet slightly wider than hips, and just coming over then, like that. We might be able to get a little bit further this time, so we're a bit warmer. Okay, good. Then we're into the Goran squat, so bring those feet in slightly, over with a straight back, slight bend in the legs, in the knees, and then dipping down into the squat. Over, tension in the hamstrings, down to the squat. You got it. Couple more. Okay, then we've got those sumo squats. So we're right out, feet wide. And we've got those standing knee circles. Look after those knees. And then the other side. Anyone else got their tongue out whilst they're trying to make their feet do what you want them to do? Okay, good. Then have a break before we move on to round 3. Okay, wide stance, good morning for the last time today. Let's try and get a bit more distance this time, now the hamstrings are nice and warm. That's it, you got it. Looking good. 4, 5, bring those feet in, the Goran squat, over again, tension in the hamstrings, dip down into that squat. Over, dip down, cool, good stuff. It's a mixture of 2 difficult movements there. And then, once we've done those, feet out wide again for those sumo squats, just 5 of them. And then finally, bring that leg up so it's parallel with the floor of the quad and do those 5 circles in each direction. Not only is this good for the knee on the working leg, but the other foot, all the little muscles around the ankle, the feet, the toes are working to keep us balanced. All right, good stuff. Okay, so we're going to move on to a little bit of upper body work now, shoulders as well. So first movement's going to be a side laying arm circle. So what we're going to be doing, laying on our side here, both knees on top of each other, both arms are out on top of each other, palm to palm, and then this top arm here then is going to draw a big circle all the way around. To begin with, your palm will be pointing downwards. As it comes behind you, it will have to flip over to point upwards. And we're going to do 5 of those on this side, and then we'll roll over and do 5 on the other side. Okay, great. Once they're done, we're going to go into bird dogs. We're going to do 5 on each side, and we're going to work one side first, then switch over. So what that looks like, we'll start with right arm and left leg first. So we're in this nice stable position here, and then right arm and left leg come out to point forwards and point backwards, or parallel with the floor, however you want to think about it. In and out again, so for 5 reps. And we want to be feeling this in the hamstring, so the back of the thigh on that leg, and in the lower back as well, and the glutes, so in your bum, and in your shoulders. Alright, good, then changing sides. If you can't feel it in your shoulders, and don't believe me, do 100 of them, and you'll know. Okay, excellent. Stay in that hands and knees position. We're going to do another variation of the 4-point twist. So we're going to be in this hands and knees position here, fingertips to forehead, elbow pointing towards the floor, and then we're going to extend up so that elbow points towards the ceiling as far as you can get it, and down. You might not be able to point that elbow towards the ceiling, but get it up there as far as you can. And as you get more mobile, as your upper back mobility improves, you'll be able to get it more and more vertical. Changing sides, just 5 on each side. 3, 4, 5, okay. And then the last one then of this little circuit is hips through. So we're down into this hands and knees position, walk those hands a little bit further through, and for 5 reps we're just going to sit our hips through so we get a nice stretch here through the core and through the lower back. Hips towards the floor. Send yourself back for a nice stretch for the back, and forwards and back. And as we go through this, it should become a bit looser and a bit more comfortable. I've definitely started doing this from time to time and not being able to get my hips anywhere near the floor because of tightness. Okay, one more. Excellent, and then back to the start of the single arm circles. So laying on our side here, palm to palm, and we're going for 5 nice big circles. Once they're done, we're up into the bird dogs. Again, 5 on each side. If you want to do them alternating, you can do 10 alternating if you want. Okay, excellent. Then we're on to that 4-point twist with the elbow again. Fingertips to forehead. Changing sides. Lovely. And then to finish off, 5 of the hips through. We're a bit warmer now. Okay, great. That's that circuit done. Okay, so the next one, we're going to be working on hips and glutes a bit. We've got 3 movements to go through. One is called a glute bridge and reach, so I'll just demonstrate that now. So we're going to be up here, feet below on pushing into the floor. We're going to go up into a glute bridge, and then right arm first. It's going to reach over, and we're going to come up onto this left shoulder and reach over. So we should get a nice stretch up here. So we're going to do 5 of those on each side. That's movement number 1. Movement number 2 is going to be a glute bridge rock. So we're going to be on the floor here. If I turn slightly sideways, on the floor here, hips, bum is on the floor. We're going to bring this foot up over onto this quad, onto this knee here. And from there then, I'm going to keep my back flat on the floor. I'm going to rock from side to side, aiming to get this knee down to the floor here, and this foot flat on the floor here. But the key thing is we have to keep our back flat on the floor. So if you can't get either way, doesn't matter, keep that back flat on the floor. Don't be coming up off your back here to get your foot down. The final movement then, we're going to rock on our backs like this. We're going to come up, feet out, and we're going to reach through. We'll run through it as we go again, okay? So let's start with that glute bridge and reach, 5 on each side. So up into that glute bridge, and then we're reaching over and coming up onto the shoulder. And then you can do that 5 on each side and then change or alternate if you want. I bet you thought mobility session was going to be easy today. Okay, when that's done, we're going to go into the rock. Hips down on the floor, foot over, keep that back flat, and we're going to rock from side to side with the aim of getting the knee to the floor and the foot to the floor, but both shoulder blades need to be flat on the floor whilst we're doing it. One more each side. 1, 2, then change sides. Let's go. Two more each side. 1, 1, 2, 2. And the last one, which I didn't demonstrate very well, is we're going to rock backwards like this. We're going to come forwards, feet out, reach through. Depending on how warm you are and how your hamstrings are feeling, you can either reach through gently, or you can really use that momentum to get a bit of extra movement through the hamstrings. So we're going to go for 5 of those. Okay, excellent. We've got one more bit to do. So we're going to come up to standing. We're going to start with one Jefferson's curl, which what that looks like is we're standing here. We're going to internally rotate the hands so the thumbs come in. We're going to tuck our chin to our chest, then vertebrae by vertebrae. We're then just going to fold ourselves over with the aim, bringing those shoulders in with the aim of getting the hands down to the toes or to the floor. Pause there for a second and then back up. So, nice and slow. Run yourself through that Jefferson's curl. Once you come back up to standing then, what we're going to do is we're going to take our stance relatively wide, not as wide as the sumo squats from earlier, and we're going to reach our hands down towards the floor, wherever we can touch the floor. We're going to walk, let me just come back a bit. We're going to walk ourselves forwards, so we come out into a high plank position on the top of the press up. From there, we're going to touch right hand to left hip, right hand pointing forwards and down, left hand to left hip, left hand pointing forwards, back down to the floor, and then we're going to walk ourselves back in. Again, I bet you thought it was going to be easy. Okay, then we're going to go back into another Jefferson's. So internally rotating those hands, shoulders folding in as well, chin tucked, send yourself over. Don't worry about what your lumbar spine's doing. It's not loaded, you're not going to hurt yourself. Just really let yourself fold over, keep those legs pretty much straight. Pause at the bottom just for a couple of breaths, if you can breathe in this position, which I can't. And then up. Good. And then one more then. Feet wide, hands down towards the floor. Walking yourself out into that high plank position. Right hand touches right hip, points forward. Left hand touches left hip, points forward. And then walk yourself back in. There we go.